Welcome back. So today I was going to talk about Death's End. I finished Death's End, which is a really cool book. I think actually, so it's a trilogy of books written by this Chinese guy about a war between aliens and humans. And I feel like I liked the books more the third book is like bonkers. There are so many ideas. I remember talking about the second book being like, oh, there's a lot of cool ideas. I think the book actually suffers from too many cool ideas, like physics ideas and like, oh, the fourth dimension and oh, black holes, and he comes up with so many cool things that I've never heard of before. Like, for example, he comes up with this idea of a black domain. Well, he comes up with two ideas. So here's something that I kind of wanted to talk about, like the idea of spoiling stuff. For me, it's not a thing because I understand, like, people on the internet don't like to spoil things. It makes a ton of sense. I had, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I had the Force Awakens spoiled for me on the internet. And The Last Jedi, too, on Reddit. I was on Reddit, but it was stupid to be on Reddit. But for me, like, I don't have to feel bad about that because this is my only opportunity to talk about these things. So, like, I'm using this as kind of like a diary, or like, you're my friend and I'm assuming you've seen the movie or whatever. If I don't talk about it here, I'll never talk about it. So that's why I don't feel bad about spoiling things. Because, like, I want to talk about this, and it's my only opportunity to talk about it with anybody. So Death's End is really cool. There's two. I've always had such a hard time talking about these books because there are so many ideas, and I just like rambling about, like, and it can't fit into 12 minutes, but I'm gonna try. I want to talk about. Well, it suffers a little bit from too many cool ideas because the characters, it's almost all exposition. The book is just like him explaining cool science ideas that he's thought of. And, like, the characters are just kind of like background noise and not important at all, really. Just like, he's just trying to make a cool science point, and the characters are just there to help him make the point. They're not there to develop or make interesting decisions or whatever. So that's why I kind of think, like, this Netflix show they're gonna make can't be good. I don't know how. It's insane that they're gonna try to make this, because in all three of the books the characters are constantly changing. Like, he never sticks with this. In the third book, the second half of the third book, he has like the same character the whole time, but other than that, like, he's constantly changing characters. Like, this is the main character, oh no, now this is the main character. It could work, but it's going to be really hard to make that a TV show. So I'm going to spoil it. The end of the third book. So in the second book, they come up with this idea of the Dark Forest, which is that there are alien civilizations all over the universe, but they're hidden because they're afraid that the other aliens will instantly kill them if they make their position known. And so at the end of the second book, the alien Trisolaris and Earth are in the middle of this war, but then the third book is all about the Dark Forest, and, like, Trisolaris kind of goes away, and it's not really that important anymore. Because they have this bigger threat of the Dark Forest. And there are a lot of ideas with that. I'm just going to preface it with that. I could say, like, a bunch more stuff about it, but I just want to get to this cool idea of the dark domain and two-dimensional attacks. So one really cool idea, the coolest idea that I've ever heard, it's like Flatland on steroids. Basically, he says that the universe, at the beginning of the universe, there were actually 10 spatial, like, the universe was a 10 spatial dimension universe, not just 3 as it is now. And the speed of light was infinity. But what happened was 10-dimensional beings got more intelligent and had civilizations, and they started to go to war with each other. And one of the weapons that they came up with was to send their enemies and create them into 9-dimensional beings, which would basically evaporate them from the universe, and so they wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. But this weapon that they created is impossible to stop. It just spreads until it covers the entire universe. So once they shoot this 9-dimensional weapon anywhere, eventually it will envelop the whole universe and will make the universe into 9 dimensions. And by the time it's 9 dimensions, the planet that shot the gun will have developed technology to live in the 9-dimensional universe, but the people that they shot the gun at won't. They'll still be 10-dimensional beings in a 9-dimensional universe, so they'll die, or they'll just like be stuck there forever. None of this might make any sense, like logically, but it seems like it does to me, like an idiot, and I'm like, this is cool. So basically what happened is that over the course of the universe, we are constantly having these wars until we get to our 3-dimensional universe with a speed of light of 100,000 meters per second or whatever. He introduces this concept in a cool way, which is in the middle of the last book, some of the people on a spaceship encounter a 4-dimensional, like a portal to a 4-dimensional universe, and they go in and they start talking to this 4th dimensional AI system, and it's like, our universe is almost dead, it's collapsing. And they're like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't. Like, when you're reading it, you're like, what are they talking about? How are they? And so basically the 4th dimension at this point in time is basically dead. It's like it's like there's like little pockets. He describes it as like puddles, and the fish are flopping in the puddles, because the 4th dimensional weapons have almost engulfed the whole universe. And most of the beings from the 4th dimension have moved to the 3rd dimension. I'm not doing. Oh, you need to do the dragon for this one. But maybe I might beat it. Who knows? So then, at the end of the book, Earth gets attacked with a 2-dimensional gun, and basically the entire solar system turns into, everybody dies, and it turns into a 2-dimensional object that is not 2-dimensional, so everything in it dies. They're all dead, except for 2 people that escape on a light-speed spaceship. So the idea is, like, at the end of the book he explains, when Dark Forest aliens go to war, they have a bunch of different things they can do to manipulate physics. But the 2 major things they do are to attack, they use dimensional guns, which turn you into lower dimensional objects, which you can't survive. And they have a defense system, which is, they call it a dark domain, which they're able to lower the speed of light within a radius. So they lower the speed of light to like 16 kilometers per second or something. And that protects against anything that can enter that space, because as anything enters the space, like if it's anything, the part that hits the tidal forces of it hitting the domain from the front end will pull it apart because the back end is going at light speed and the front end is going really slow. So it'll just be like... so nothing can get in there, but also nothing can leave. Because at that slow a light speed, like, you can't create any technology. You can't create, like, computers. So there's no way to escape. But you can live there. So that was one of the ideas for defenses against the Dark Forest on Earth, was like, let's create a dark domain where we lower the speed of light so low that light can't escape. So it looks like a black hole, but from the outside, but on the because no light is escaping. But on the inside, it's actually just a normal place. I wonder if something like that could actually exist. It doesn't seem like it could, but like once you mess with, I mean, how do you change the speed of light in a solar system? It doesn't really make sense, but it's a cool idea. So that's like the book. It's like every chapter, it's a new cool physics thing that he's coming up with, and he explains it really well, and it's like, wow, I wonder if this is like, could this really happen? What was another one? I think I'm almost done. Yeah. Can I think of another one real quick? I think my favorite part was like thinking about that 9 or 10 dimensional war and the speed of light being infinity. And it's like, oh, now it's... Because it doesn't really make sense that the speed of light isn't... Like, who decided the speed of light is just what it is? Why isn't it faster? Why isn't it slower? It makes a lot more sense for the speed of light to be infinity to me. But also, I don't know. If the speed of light was infinity, we would see light emitted instantly. Would that change? Obviously that would change so much, but it's not that much different than seeing light. Like if a star is 4 light years away, what's the difference between seeing it, the light emitted from it 4 years ago, and the light emitted from it instantly? It's just 4 years. It doesn't seem like it would change any fundamental, like it wouldn't break the universe to change the speed of light to infinity. Or maybe it would. I don't know. But the cool thing about, I remember learning this about photons, which is because photons travel at the speed of light, they don't really experience time, because as you approach the speed of light, time slows down for you relatively. So if you're going the speed of light, it doesn't seem like time is moving at all. So if you were a photon and you left a galaxy 100 million light years away, it would feel like no time has passed for you to come here, which I thought was pretty cool. I gotta do this guy. But yeah, that's Death's End. It's a pretty awesome book. I liked it a lot. I bet there's like no other book like that just like, it's not really a story, it's just like a bunch of like really cool science ideas, like loosely linked together by a narrative. I know there are people like Philip K. Dick and Isaac Asimov who like were science fiction writers and they come up with cool stuff, but I don't know. I just really like the book. So, see you tomorrow.